Good morning, students. I have a puzzle for you. It belongs to a rodent family, but it's not a rat. It has fur and bushy tail, but it's not a cat. It loves to eat nuts, and it has black and attractive and sharp eyes. It has three black stripes on its back, which are of grey, brown, and black in color. Can you guess what it is? Yes, you are absolutely right. It is a squirrel. Now, in Unit 1, we have a poem, The Squirrel, written by Mildred Armstrong. Mildred Armstrong is an American poetess. She is also children's book author. Apart from that, she has written so many poems. Her poems are entitled in a volume of poetry which is known as Twist O Smoke, and for which she has been awarded Yale Younger Poets Prize. And this has been published in Yale University Press. And coming to the poem, this poem is, the atmosphere of this poem is very cheerful and expressive. And this poem which we have for our study, that is The Squirrel, it is a poem of around 6 lines. And it all tells us about the squirrel's appearance and also about its basic nature. And the poetess, she observes the squirrel very keenly and writes the poem for us. Now, let us read the poem. He wore a question mark for tail, an overcoat of grey. He sat up straight to eat a nut. He liked to tease and play. And if he ran around his tree, he went the other way. Now, once again, I'll read the poem for you, children. He wore a question mark for tail, an overcoat of grey. He sat up straight to eat a nut. He liked to tease and play. And if we ran around his tree, he went the other way. Now, coming to this poem, which is just 6 lines. Here, the poetess observes the squirrel very keenly, which is there in its garden. So here the squirrel is on the tree and he wore a question mark for tail. So he wore a question mark for tail. Here he refers to the squirrel. So here the poetess personifies the squirrel and gives a human quality to it. So he wore. So wore a question mark for tail. So wore naturally we use for human beings. He wore a coat or he wore some dress like that. But here for an animal we need to write it has a tail. Okay, so instead of that she personifies the squirrel and gives the human quality. So he wore a question mark for tail. So you might have observed the tail of the squirrel. So the tail, it raises up and then it comes down. Okay, the tip of the tail comes down and it forms a question mark. Okay. An overcoat of grey. So an overcoat of grey, it refers to the fur of the squirrel, which is grey in color, and that is like an overcoat. So the squirrel has an overcoat of grey. So it is the fur of the squirrel. And he sat up straight to eat a nut. So who is he here? The squirrel. So the squirrel sat up. Where did it sit? It sat on a tree. And how did it sit? It sat erect. It sat straight. And it loves to eat nuts. We all know that. So it was eating the nuts, sitting on the tree, very straight and erect. Then he liked to tease and play. So again the squirrel is very funny in nature and very playful also. It likes to tease the human beings or it likes to tease the poetess. Okay, and like to tease and play. So it wants to play with the people or it wants to play with the poetess. So as this poetess was observing the squirrel, so it wants to tease it. So when we also look at the squirrel, we find that the squirrel stops for a while and looks at us and then it starts moving. So we feel like catching it, and when we go at its back, so it goes the other way. Okay. So and if we ran around his tree, so where do you find normally the squirrels? On the tree. And if we are at the back of the squirrel, then what happens? It goes the other way. So it loves to play with the people. He went the other way. So it goes the other way. So is this clear, children, the poem? Now, here the poetess uses poetic devices. Normally, a poet or a poetess, they use the poetic devices. Why do they use? They want to make their poem very descriptive. For that sake, they use poetic devices. So here, the first poetic device is the personification. Now, let us see what personification is. Personification is a literary device or a poetic device in which inanimate objects, animals, and forces of nature are given as human qualities. So, in this poem, he wore a question mark tail. So, here he wore, it is given, the squirrel is given a human quality, that is, it is personified. Okay. Now, coming to the other poetic device. So, the other poetic device is alliteration. So what is this alliteration? It is also a poetic device in which where two or more words in a line or in a verse has same consonant sound. So where two or more words have the same consonant sound. So now let us find out from this poem which two words or more than two words have the same consonant sound. So here you see the third line. He sat up straight to eat a nut. So here sir, sat up, sir and straight. So these two have same consonant sound. So this is a sat straight is an alliteration. Now see the last line. When, he went the other way. So went and way. So this verse sound is also alliteration where it has common consonant sound. So is this clear? Now coming to the other literary device. So other literary device is an anaphora. So what is this anaphora? Anaphora is the repetition of phrase or word at the beginning of a verse used for emphasis. So it is a repetition of a word. So in the poem, let us see which word is repeated at the beginning of the line. So see here the third line, he. So he is given here, and the next line again here, he. So this is the repetition of the word continuously. So this is anaphora. So is this clear, children? Now let us see the rhyming words and the rhyme scheme of this poem. So now we all know that rhyming words, they end with the same sound. So we come across rhyming words at the end of each line. So let me underline the word tail, then grey, nut, play, tree and way. So here which words are rhyming? Yes, it is grey, play and way. So these three words are rhyming. So these three words are the rhyming words for this poem. Now coming to the rhyme scheme. So what is this rhyme scheme? Rhyme scheme is the arrangement of these rhyming words. Now let us see how the poetess has arranged these words. Now tail. So when we are writing the rhyme scheme, we will take the first alphabet in the alphabets. So for tail we will write A. Then comes the second alphabet is B. So after tail, grey. So is grey rhyming with the, or is it having the same sound with the tail? No. So we take the next alphabet of the alphabets, that is B. Next coming to the next word nut. So is nut rhyming with grey and tail? No. So we take the third alphabet, that is C. Now coming to the fourth line, the last word is play. So is play rhyming with any of the word? Yes, it is rhyming with grey. So which alphabet we need to take? So as it is rhyming with grey, we will take the same B alphabet. Okay. Then comes tree. So is tree rhyming with nut, tail, play or grey? No. So we take another alphabet, that is D. After C, D. Then comes the way. So is way rhyming with the any other word? Yes. Way is rhyming with play and grey. So what we have, which alphabet did we write for grey and play? B. So we'll take the same alphabet B. So now the rhyme scheme is A, B, C, A, B, C, B, D, B. So this is the rhyme scheme of the poem. A, B, C, B, D, B. So this is the right scheme of this poem. Is this clear, children? Thank you.